In 1985, Tom Holland wrote and directed what I consider to be one of the definitive 80s horror movies, Fright Night. It combined great laughs and great scares, along with some excellent performances, not least by Chris Sarandon in the role of Jerry Dandridge, the vampire next door. But inevitably, in the early to mid-2000s boom of remaking horror films, they were going to get to this. Starring Colin Farrell, Anton Yelchin, and unfortunately David fucking Tennant. This is the remake of Fright Night.
Adam Johnson. Adam?
You know Adam's missing, right?
Right, kids aren't coming to school. It happens all the time.
I don't know if you were paying attention to roll call, but he's not the only one that's gone.
This is my son, Charlie, and his girlfriend.
Hi. So Jerry is our new neighbor.
Hey. Hey.
Did I kill him?
Hopefully.
So originally when I heard about the remake of this film, I wasn't my usual pessimistic self or thought, for fuck's sake. I mean, I love the original film, a lot of us do, but it is intrinsically 80s, and even though that is one of the things you love about it, it is something where I sort of went, oh, well, maybe we're going to have a go and see if a remake would maybe, it's not going to be better, but have a good stab at it and bring it, you know, a more modern, up-to-date version of the film. But there's something about that original where it has the classic 80s setting of the suburbs, you know, as a lot of these films did at the time. But there's also a certain classic campiness to it as well. I mean, like the house Jerry Dandridge lives in, by the fucking end of the film, it ends up looking like the movie from the fucking Munsters. It's all like fog and spars and, you know, it's like, well, not gargoyles and shit, but you get the point, you know what I'm talking about. My main issue with the remake of Fright Night is its setting. I mean, they've set it in the middle of a fucking desert, and it just doesn't have the same punch for a horror film. It doesn't have the same creep factor. Again, it hits the main story beats. You know, Jerry Dandridge lives next door. He's like, comes across as an affable, charming kind of guy, and Colin Farrell is pretty good in the role, as is Anton Yelchin, but it never sold it to me, and that's one of the main issues, as I've mentioned. It's just that desert setting. It doesn't really have the same feel. And when it comes to Colin Farrell, as I say, he plays Jerry Dandridge really well as a suave, sort of charming prick. But when it comes to the vampire issue, I don't know, again, the thing with the mid-2000s when everybody was just discovering CG, I mean, by this point, they'd sort of been doing CG quite a long time, so I didn't really think there was much of an excuse for the CG to be so fucking shit. I mean, what they could do in the 80s with the practical effects still to this day looks amazing, and I'm not trying to be a purist. I mean, I love really well done CG. I think CG can be absolutely fantastic, and much like practical effects, I love brilliant practical effects. I hate shitty practical effects and I hate shitty CG. And I didn't like that aspect that they went down with it, but the main fucking problem that I have with this film is David Tennant. Now, I'm not a fan of David Tennant as an actor. I don't think I've ever seen him anything that he impressed me. Maybe Broadchurch, but that was an overall ensemble piece that I really enjoyed, not specifically because of him. But it probably didn't matter who they put in the role, but making David Tennant's character like a Chris Angel sort of fucking Vegas like stage wizard, which I believe is the only fucking reason why it's set in the desert, was that one change was put in the script. Is, oh, what if we make him like a Chris Angel what I say, wizard, fucking magician, like one of them stage magicians, or a fucking wizard. I'd prefer a wizard, would have been much better. And I believe that's why they set it in Vegas. And his whole character just comes across as a real fucking annoying fucking wagger. And I get that's the point, he's meant to be an egotistical fuckhead, but it's not, he doesn't have the same essence of character as what Roddy McDowell's Peter Vincent had in the original. I mean, yes, there was an ego attached there, but there was a kindness. With David Tennant's character, there's nothing, there's no kindness, there's nothing says to me that inevitably by the end of the film, spoilers, if you've never seen either version, you know that he was going to like fucking get his courage and help Charlie out in the vampire situation. So, I mean, that's really my main issue. Now, it's not the worst offender. We've already discussed one of them in the last video, and we will discuss more, believe me. It's not the worst offender, but it has probably the cardinal sin of not just a remake, but of any so-called horror film. It's just really boring. And that could be something to do with, yes, it's a remake, and if you've seen the original, but even if you hadn't seen the original, I just can't find anybody finding this like horrifying, scary, or exciting. I just can't see anybody being invested in what's going on. You don't seem to root for Charlie. He doesn't have the same lovable sweetness like the Charlie in the original. McLovin in it is just a fucking no-no as well. That was pointless as the Evil Ed character. Again, he didn't have that sweetness to him. Evil Ed, while but he deemed him to be a bit weird. But the time that his demise arrived in the original, I mean, you felt so bad for him, which was obviously the point of the script, because there's a shot where, like, Peter Vincent, like, draws a tear. You know, we feel so bad, and the look on the guy's face after he, you know, comes back from being the werewolf when he gets killed, it's one of genuine pleading for help and sadness. But when McLovin dies, you don't give a fuck. Probably because it's McLovin. Fuck McLovin. But Fright Night remake, what's your thoughts on it? What do you think? I'm not a fan, and I much prefer the original. And again, as I say, I'm not a purist. There are films that have had remakes that I prefer to the originals, but this isn't one of them, so it's not for me. But the next video, maybe I'll surprise you. I mean, I probably fucking won't. Like, I'm not going to do this series on I really love this remake, because a Nightmare on Elm Street remake's coming up and there's no fucking chance of that happening.